Live streams are officially back. So in this episode, we are talking about lighting, what equipment I use, how I use it, my lighting setups, pretty much every single lighting based question. And don't forget, after every live stream, you guys get to vote what the next live stream is going to be about. So keep in mind that if you want your topic to win, make sure you vote. Pretty much as simple as that. Get ready because we're going over what softboxes I'm using. I literally brought everything here. I'll make sure to try and answer questions on how you can use these setups on your shoots as well. So this way you guys know how to use like the same lighting setup as us, okay? Throughout the live stream, if you guys do have questions, leave a comment below. Gigi's here moderating everything, so don't write anything crazy or she's gonna delete it. But overall, we'll get to everybody's question today. Now, the main reason as to why we chose lighting as a live stream is because you guys voted for it. So every Monday, we're gonna basically put up a vote and you guys can decide every single week what it is that we're gonna be talking about. So let's jump right into it, okay? So talking about lighting. Lighting, as you guys know, I do wedding photography. That's like my main business. So for me, lighting is everything. What I love about these lights is they're battery packed and it's very easy just to kind of like slip on and off. Now, one thing that I just want to say to you guys is that if anybody here is also needs to do any studio portraits, keep in mind that the great thing about these lights is through the pack, you can actually convert it from battery to also electric. So if you need to plug it into a wall, you can. But basically this battery just goes on the back here, snaps right in, and boom, you are basically ready to shoot. So you literally just turn it on. It has a bulb here in the front, of course. And yeah, this is where you're gonna be putting your diffuser on as well. So I have a full setup right here behind me. And this is typically what my lighting setup is on a wedding, is I'm basically using one light, okay? Now, softbox is critical. This is what you're gonna find me using as like the front in front of the subject to light them, okay? This softbox is the Rapid softbox. It's honestly my favorite. You hear me talking about it all the time, and no, this isn't like a sponsored video or anything. And truthfully, the main reason why I love the Rapid softbox is because it's so easy to set up. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick example to show you how easy it is. So their softboxes come in, obviously, a bag. And when you open up the bag, you take the softbox out. Okay, this is like full demonstration. Okay, this is the diffuser. And literally the reason why they call it a Rapid softbox is because you can rapidly set it up. The softbox is open already. The only thing I have left is literally to put on the diffuser. That's how awesome this softbox is. So that's why I recommend it, just because at weddings, I'm on the go. I don't have time to like stop and like, I remember, what was it, like the Ellencrom? For anybody that's been shooting for a long time, you guys know the Ellencrom softboxes. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Remember where you had to like bend your arm in and like snap the handles in, and how much of a pain that was and very time consuming? Yeah, this is exactly why I'm using these like Rapid softboxes, because it's super fast to set up. Now, I always recommend taking the diffuser off when you're done shooting. But of course, they're Rapid softboxes for a reason, so you can literally just close it like that and boom, put it right back in the bag. So quick tip, and basically for these softboxes, I have them in these strip lights as well. And I also have them as the big Octabox that I also use. So just depending on my setup, if I'm inside, if I'm outside, that's kind of where I'll use it. Or also depending on the space, if I have an assistant or if I don't have an assistant, sometimes you run into situations where you gotta roll light. So that's when I'll usually use just like the strip softbox, because it's easier to carry. But of course, if I have the space, then go big or go home, am I right? So that's pretty much front light, diffuser that you're gonna wanna have. And what we'll do is, G's, like I said, sitting over here, we will put together a blog post once we're done with this live stream, and basically give you guys all the links for where you can buy it. So I'll make sure to put my link in the bio as soon as we're done with the live stream. Oh, G's saying you guys can swipe up. Look at this technology. Oh, nuts.
We're going to put it on the story.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to put it on the story so then you guys can swipe up. So we're really working the technology here. So this way you guys can get all the links and get everything that you need. But don't go nowhere because we're not done yet. We need to talk about the backlight, okay? Now, backlights are just as important as the front light. So you might say, Suzanne, why do I need a backlight? Okay, well, that's a really good question. The reason why you're going to need a backlight is because sometimes you need to separate your subject from the background. Suzanne, what do you mean? Let me tell you. So let's say you're shooting, for example, I'm going to say, let's say I was taking a photo of myself. Right now, I would not use a backlight for me. Why? Because I have all of this nice window light coming in. So if you guys are looking at the side of my hair, do you see I'm blocking it right now? So you don't see any light here, but if I put my hand down, you see the hair light that I all of a sudden have? That is hair light. So you want that natural light coming onto your subject, because look at me now, I kind of have this like three-dimensional look. That's exactly what you want. So this hair light that you're seeing right here, just quick example, is great. So that's what you can use this little flash for behind your subject. So occasionally you might need it. In this situation, if you have the sun or some kind of light behind them, a natural light, that's always better. Natural is always better. But if not, then you can always add it. John, can I get that stand? So for this light, you're gonna wanna use a small stand behind the subject. For this one, there's literally a little screw on the back, so you can just screw this in to the bottom. Stand-wise, I always say your stand is important because your light's on it, so you don't want anything flimsy, but you don't need to be spending hundreds of dollars on a light stand, okay? Especially if you're someone traveling, you also don't want anything too heavy. So like I said, I'll put the links in there of what I'm using so you guys can see, but basically, see, small stand, and this can just sit right behind them. And it's also good in case you do see the light behind them. If you have to like Photoshop it out or something, it's like an easy thing to do. So pretty much you can just open this. This light also has different grids that you can change. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it has like different grids and stuff that you can change as well. And just so you guys know, guys, we're live streaming on Facebook and Instagram. So if you guys find the quality is better on one or the other, feel free to switch back and forth. And we're gonna be getting to a couple questions soon, so start leaving your comments. G's over here, literally right there, looking at them, and she's gonna be jotting them down. So any questions, you guys start leaving it. Now, overall, how many people are in the wedding business? I see someone on Facebook is in weddings. G, can you give us like a count here? I'm seeing a lot of people are here in weddings. Oh, alien bees. Yeah, I used to shoot with alien bees like back in the day, but I haven't gone back to it anytime soon. I'm pretty much like just like a camera system, guys. Once you buy into something, once you buy into like your camera system, for example, for a lot of you, I'm sure you guys are Nikon or Canon shooters. Hopefully we got some Sony people out there. But once you guys buy into something, you kind of get invested in it because our equipment and everything that we're buying is so expensive. So it's very rare that you might even switch because, like I said, it is expensive to even make those switches. But for me, I found that this lighting setup is efficient, it's fast, it's at a great price, and that's pretty much why I'm using it. Could I use Pro Photo lighting, which is like 10 times the price of what I'm paying here? Of course. But it's like for what I'm doing, I don't need that. I just don't need that light. That light gives me the same exact light using this as I get when I'm using Pro Photo light. And I can truthfully say that because I shot Pro Photo lighting for over like 10 years. From like the beginning when I started, when I was 13, up until I was 23, 24 almost, I literally shot Pro Photo. So within the past 2 years, since I'm 26 now, is when I started switching to the Adorama lights. And to be honest, they're amazing. Like, I don't want to brag, but they're really great and they do the job. So in any event, this is the second light that I use. Now, some of you guys have been asking me about my wireless triggers. So you can see my light is going off. Can you guys see that on the Facebook? So you guys can see the light is going off. So these are the triggers. They are also Flashpoint brand, but like I said, I know some of you guys get the Godox ones as well. It's the same exact thing. Literally, like, they make the same exact products. I don't really know how that worked out, why they make the same thing and sell the same thing, but that's just what it is. But in any event, so I use these wireless triggers. And I have to say, I mean, also, like, that's one thing that I love about the whole Flashpoint system is the fact that you can literally just control everything, like, right on the back of it, and it just makes it so easy. Like, so for example, let's say I have one light over here, and let's say I have one light in the front on the couple, and then I have a second light in the back. I mean, it really does a great job just being able to literally click on the back of it and change my settings instantly. You can also change like the channel right there. So I usually will recommend these. And again, all the links, we're gonna put them online, so this way you guys can get the same stuff, or who knows, maybe if you guys have some recommendations on new things that are out. I always like to stay up to date with the technology. So if you guys are using something that you think I should use, or maybe there's something out there that you think I should review, definitely let me know, because you know, you got to stay updated on the technology, especially now, because literally every single person that owns an iPhone or an Android or any smartphone can in some degree take like professional photos, especially if you have like the apps that you can go on and, you know, edit your pictures. I mean, it's all the more reason why us as professionals constantly need to keep updated on technology and the things that our guests at weddings or our clients can't do. So definitely let me know if you guys have any recommendations for what's hot, what you're using, as I would love to give it a try. So again, just kind of recapping, lighting wise, two light setup. That's like the standard 101. Will you need a 3-light setup? For me, not really. I really stick to more of a 2-light setup, especially you guys know how weddings are. It's fast, you got to keep moving. So I really choose to stick to more of that 2-light setup. Again, Explorer 600 lights from Adorama, Flashpoint brand. And then I also use, like I said, the Rapid Box from Westcott Lighting. And I use it just because, like I said, they're rapid for a reason. They pretty much pop open and close in a second. Like I said, you can either keep the diffuser on or not, but look, set up in like a second. It's crazy. You want to break it down? Done. So I mean, you guys know how it is on weddings. It's fast. So for me, seconds matter, and that's pretty much why I'm using this stuff. So going back to other lighting equipment, and then we're going to start getting to some questions. No matter what lighting you have, you can do this. You don't necessarily need to go out and buy all this stuff that I have to get great shots. You can do it. It really just comes down to knowing how to use light. Now, let me just give this last little tip about lighting in general so you guys can get an idea of settings, because I know you guys like to know what settings I'm using. And, you know, here's like your rule of thumb. Basically, you have a 2-light setup, okay? You have one light in the front, and then you have of your subject. So for example, let's say you were taking a photo of me. So let's say you're the photographer and you're taking a picture of me right now. This light right here, do you see how I'm creating a shadow? This light right here is one light, and then you're gonna put a second light behind me. So in this case, how I was just giving you an example of the natural light that we're getting coming in, so you can kind of see the difference behind my hair, you know? That's your second light. So what you're gonna wanna do is, in general, for me, I like to try and keep my lighting balanced. So if, let's say I'm trying to get a shot, most of my portraits, I'm shooting them at around like f8 because I want something sharp. Or if I want to blur the background, then I'm shooting more at like an f4. I'm basically going to wanna match my lighting in front and my lighting behind at around the same light. The reason why I wouldn't do my backlight any lower than that is because if I put my backlight metered at a lower f-stop, then guess what? You're not going to be able to see the actual light in the back. So it either has to be the same consistency of light going between both lights, or your backlight needs to be just a little bit more. Not a full stop, but maybe like a third of a stop. Okay, so that's kind of like the rule of thumb that you're gonna wanna do for lighting, okay? So now is your time. Now is your time to start leaving comments. I feel like I'm so high energy right now.
You are.
And I don't know, I'm just super happy and like I'm so excited. You see, we used to do these live streams like, when was it, earlier last year, G? Like we used to do these live streams every Thursday. We did it for like a few months solid, and then just scheduling got in the way, and so we ended up stopping. But you don't understand, like I'm super happy to be bringing these live streams back because you guys always have questions and I always want to get to them, but sometimes I feel like I can't express it literally in a comment. Like I am a talking person. Oh my gosh. I am like someone that likes to like communicate. What is that called? Like I just like to talk to people, okay? Like I'd rather answer you like on the phone, or I'd rather like, do you know what I'm saying? Like I just like to communicate like that. So sometimes the questions that you guys ask me, I want to answer, but it's like would cause like this long of a paragraph on Instagram, and you know, they give me a character count. So I can only do so much. So live streams are back, guys. So get ready because we also need to vote on what the live stream for next week is going to be and what the topic is, okay? Because we have a lot to cover. So let's start jumping into some questions. G, do you want to ask me?
Yeah. Does it matter the shape of the softbox?
Okay, so the question was, does it matter the shape of the softbox? Who's asking this question?
That is the brown-eyed photography.
The brown-eyed photography?
Yeah.
Okay, so wants to know, does it matter the shape of the softbox? Yes, it matters the shape of the softbox. For example, this is a strip softbox, so this wouldn't light more, I would say, than two people like comfortably. That doesn't mean that you can't use it for big group shots if it's in like an indoor environment. But let's say you're like outside, as an example, you have to remember when you're outside and the sun, you have to think of the sun as like another source of light, obviously. So you have to make sure that your light can overpower the sun in that circumstance. So for an example, like this small strip softbox would be good for like a photo of one or two. Oh, the Facebook is getting weird with the lighting. Sorry guys, Facebook is getting weird with the lighting. Anyways, so you have to remember that if you're doing, like I said, one or two people, then you're definitely gonna wanna, you can definitely use like a strip softbox like this or something small. If you're gonna be doing something with, let's say, a group of people, like let's say family pictures. John, do you mind turning on that light? Maybe it'll balance it out. If you're gonna be doing like group photos, then it's definitely going to be something that you're gonna want like a bigger softbox, which I'll definitely put a link in our blog, that one. I'll definitely put a link in our blog so this way you guys can see some of the differences between the different ones that I use. Sorry, that was super long-winded.
It looks okay.
Yes.
Facebook
It is? Okay. Next question. Keep them coming.
Okay. So Laura's photography said, I want to upgrade my lighting, but I'm using, what is it, Allen Bees?
You want to upgrade your lighting. Okay, so we got another person. You want to upgrade your lighting and you're using Alien Bees. Okay, so I don't remember. So
what do you suggest I'm using that?
So again, you guys, lighting wise, I would recommend using the Adorama flashpoint lights if you're looking to do an upgrade. The lights right now, unless the price has changed, they were, I think when I saw them the other day, they were like $600 on Adorama. They're like a $600 light. And it might be, when I bought them, just so you know, it was like $700, and that at the time included the triggers. So I'm pretty sure I saw the price go down because Adorama has recently come out with a new light. So I would recommend that if you want to get the Explore 600 light, that one's great if you want to save some money. Or like I said, always, you know, when you can, stay updated on the technology. So maybe just upgrade to the newer one so you have the latest version, which I think that's why the Explore 600 light, the price had went down. So, you know, either one would be great. And like I said, for a light, especially if you're like me who's doing like how many shoots, guess how many shoots I'm doing a week, like 3 or 4. We actually were just rushing back from something this morning. So yeah, I would definitely recommend, like, it's worth the money for sure. And really, remember, guys, you only need one. Like, you only need one to get started. You just need one light, a diffuser, and then, like I said, like the little, where did I put it? Oh, it's next to me, duh. And the little backlight as well. So that's pretty much all you need to get started. So I would definitely recommend it. What's next, G? Other questions? Any other questions, guys?
Marlon, I'm sorry if I butcher any names, but Marlon Motivated wants to know which Sony you use.
Okay, so Marlon wants to know which Sony camera I'm using. I'm using the Sony A9, as well as we're also using the Sony A7R III camera as well. And by the way, guys, I don't know about you, but I know a lot of you guys want to know what camera systems I'm using, what lenses I have, what lenses I use for what. So I'm thinking, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking that we lean more towards that for the next video or for your next live stream next week. Or if you prefer, then we can definitely go into editing. I know you guys have some questions there. I got a surprise for you on the editing note too. But you have to wait until the end of the live stream to know. Okay?
A couple of people want to know about lighting for night shots.
Okay, great question. So a lot of people want to know about lighting for night photography, okay? Night photography, it really just comes down to one thing, the diffuser, okay? Remember, it's at night, so you don't need as much light as you do if you were shooting in the daytime. So for a night setup, like if you guys go back on my Instagram, when did we post that picture in New York? The wedding in New York? That was today? Yesterday. So if you go back to yesterday's Instagram post, you guys are going to see that I did a wedding in New York. And that photo, we actually literally just used this setup that you're seeing behind me, okay? So literally just this softbox light and my little baby light right here. And that was it. So that's pretty much what I'm using for night photography. And the main reason why I'm using that setup is just because it's small. And again, you're outside, so you don't need that much light, you know? You're trying to bring also in like the ambiance. So even when I'm usually outside at night, I would say like, think of like full power on your light. I'm probably usually like half power, or I'm only using like a quarter of the power just because it's night, like I'm bringing out the ambiance. So I'm shooting at like a lower shutter speed and I'm kind of letting all that natural light come into the frame. So yeah, so you're really looking for something small. Next question. Wow, a lot of people have a lot of questions on Facebook. Hey, Facebook people. Hey guys, hey Instagram. Are you guys liking the live stream? First and foremost, we got a lot of people tuned in between Facebook and Instagram. Are you guys feeling this? Do you guys like the live stream? Keep giving it a thumbs up. Tag a friend, share a friend. Let people know, guys. Stay up to date.
Let me hop on a Facebook question. Salorm, I believe you say, is do you use your diffusers at the reception?
Okay, so another question from Facebook. Do you use the diffusers at the reception? No. Pretty much at the reception, I'm pretty much trying to focus on more just like natural, very like natural light. If anything, like no light. I barely, honestly, like aside from the formals, I barely even have like an on-camera flash on my camera, just because like I like more of like just like the I like the ambiance in the images. Like I even like seeing like the grain in the images sometimes. So that's really more of my preference. I know some photographers that like to bring in a softbox into the reception. You can, but I do feel like it kind of kills the mood. And plus, like, who wants to see like a giant light on a stand in like the back of a room? Especially because a lot of people, if they're doing that, will like point it up to the ceiling. So this way it kind of like bounces the light off the ceiling and creates more of like a giant softbox in a room. For me, I'm not crazy about it, but everybody has their own style, so I definitely don't hate on doing it. But I would only do it if it was like an extremely dark room where they didn't have any light, and at that point I was getting like just like dark or like black photos because it was just too dark. A lot of people are still joining. Hello everybody, talking about lighting today. Any other questions, guys? Lighting, what softboxes to use, what diffusers, anything about new lights to buy. We're gonna add all of the links in a blog post once we hang up. So this way you guys know everything to buy, and Gigi will add it into the story. So this way you guys can just swipe up and go straight to the article. Hello.
Oh, interesting. Someone asked about lighting for video.
Lighting for video. Okay, so speaking of video, guess what we're using? So right now I actually have a Kino flow up that I'm using for video. For video lights, I like to actually work more. It's really important, you guys, that when you're doing weddings, that you talk to the lighting and the decor companies of these venues, because you have to remember that you are documenting the most important day of somebody's life. So you need to be more involved in the planning process than sometimes even the wedding planner. Because I'm sorry, some wedding planners really think that we can just make magic out of dark situations. And I constantly have to talk to planners about what the lighting setup is, especially if it's like an outdoor night ceremony. You know, sometimes they'll just want to do it at night or do it at dusk, which sunset ceremonies are great, but I'm sorry, if there's no light and they're like 5 minutes late, guess what? It's going to be pitch black. So you want to make sure that in the ceremony especially, and into like the reception, you guys should be talking to planners, talking to their lighting, the couple's lighting or decor companies. So this way you guys also know, you know, what's going on and what kind of lighting you need to bring, because every wedding is different.
So the ISO for reception, your ISO.
ISO for reception, guys, I always try and keep my ISO low. You really don't want to touch your ISO unless you absolutely have to. I prefer to shoot, if you are using some kind of lighting equipment like most people do, I like to shoot it more of like a 50th or 60th of a second. So this way you do get a little bit of the ambiance in. ISO, I mean, most receptions you at least have to be at ISO 800, just kind of going into it because they are relatively dark, but it also depends on how much flash you want in your image. But just know like 800, but I really never go over like ISO 1600, because at that point, unless you're using like a Sony camera that's really good in like low light, or you're using like a Nikon D5 or something like that, that again is like really good in low light, then you're gonna have a problem with grain. And unless your couple like wants like a grainy, you know, that kind of look, then I would recommend, you know, don't touch your ISO too much, okay?
Someone asked if you can say the name of the small light again.
Okay, so the name of the small light again is the Rapid Softbox. The Rapid Softbox, okay? You can get it from Westcott Lighting. I bought mine on Adorama.com. Which small? Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Oh, this one is called the Evolve Light. Okay? The 200 series. And that's what I use for a backlight. Looking at the questions. Thanks, Charlene. Looking forward to seeing you next week. What else? What else, guys? 250 is a good ISO. Yeah, it's good, but I mean, it really depends on what room you're in, because most reception rooms are pretty dark. So if you can get 250, I always say keep your ISO as low as possible. Guys, I'm just scrolling back here on the Instagram feed. Hey, Robert, thanks for the shout out of my hair. Thanks, guys, glowing over here. A lot of people are saying, please do this often. Definitely, yes, it's gonna happen.
A lot of people are asking about lenses, so maybe lenses. And
I think we're gonna definitely talk camera and lenses for next week's live stream. Just scrolling down here. What prime lenses are you losing for the reception? Okay, so just, sorry. Prime lenses, as far as the reception goes, I'm using the 50 millimeter. John, can you bring me my Pelican? I actually have some of my lenses here, so I'll give you guys a quick peek into what lenses I'm using. Another question, how did you learn photography?
That's a big one.
That is a very long-winded question, but I would say the gist of it would be, if I had to sum it up in a sentence, I would say I interned. I interned for the time that I was 13 up until I pretty much, after I graduated high school, when I was 18, almost, honestly, like I even interned when I was 19, when I was 20. I've been interning since I started, truthfully. I even find myself interning now. So I'm saying that too because a lot of people want to know how to get experience and how to get better in their photography. And my answer is always the same. Like, you have to shoot. I was shooting. I don't have to shoot every single day now because now I know what I'm doing. But when I first started, for the first like 7 or 8 years, I did photo shoots every single day. I had something going on. Whether if it was a headshot, whether if it was a photo shoot for a model, like it didn't even matter what I was doing, it just mattered that I was shooting, because from all of those different experiences is how I was able to gain knowledge. To me, what makes somebody like a true professional is really experience. It's not that, you know, one person's better than the other. It's really just the experience and the knowledge that they've gained over, you know, a certain period of time. So if you want to be experienced in your field, if you want to be the best, if you want to, you know so much about lighting and what not to use. I mean, I can talk to you about lighting because I used to use Profoto for 10 years. Now I'm using the Adorama Explorer lights. I have friends that had used like the Alien Bees, so I grew up around that. So you got to keep connecting with other photographers, and honestly, anybody that says they're professional and they've been doing this for 10 years, if you haven't interned in the past like year or two for somebody, like, I'm sorry, but you're probably outdated. And I don't mean that as a way to like be insulting, but you guys have to get out there and you have to constantly learn. You need to surround yourself with other professional photographers. As a random shout out, I'm actually connecting with this wedding photographer named Manola. He's been somebody that I connected with recently. We did a wedding a few years ago in Miami. You know, we share some of like the same client base. And, you know, next week we're going to be grabbing lunch just to kind of like catch up and, you know, talk wedding pictures and things. So you never know, like, you guys just have to really like intern, practice. And if you don't have a shoot this week, then call your friend, call your aunt, call your cousin, call somebody and like get out there and start taking some pictures and then send it to us.
Someone said they're watching from South Africa and it's midnight.
Oh, nice. South Africa. Woohoo!
So please do it more often.
All right. Okay, guys, scrolling down here.
Someone on Facebook asked your go-to reception light setup, like more specifically, like how many lights, how do you set them up?
Okay, so you guys, reception light setup, I really don't use lighting in the reception. I remember I switched recently to Sony. So because of that, like making that switch to Sony, like you really don't need, I just found myself not really needing like light like that. Like I really like just like the ambiance, like creating the photos and just capturing them in the moment. I don't really like too much heavy light because I feel like it ruins the ambiance. If I do, I will use an on-camera flash occasionally in the reception just to add like a little puff of light. But again, overall, I'm not really using light because I don't want to destroy the ambiance. Okay, that goes for ceremony and reception. And honestly, in most places for the ceremony, especially if it's in a church, you can't even use flash anyways. So you're shooting without light. So that's pretty much what you're gonna find in most cases. Guys, any other questions? Lighting questions? I'm seeing a lot of camera questions, so I definitely think you guys are already asking for, you know, talking about cameras and lenses to be the next live stream next week. So make sure on Monday you guys vote for it.
Did you finish talking about your prime lens for reception?
Oh, thanks, prime lens. It's a good thing you guys remind me because I have, ironically, even though I do photography, I have literally a bad memory and I forget like things all the time, which is why I'm big on like sticky notes. And if you looked at my desk, which maybe one day we'll do a desk tour, you guys will see I literally have like a stack of sticky notes that have writing on it that are like this thick. So I forget things. So in any event, you guys were asking prime lens, what's my main lens that I use? I'm using this 50 millimeter right here. Okay, 50 millimeter. That's pretty much my favorite lens. F1.4 is what I'm shooting at. And that's another reason why I love the fact that I did switch to Sony, which, sorry, really quick. Hi, Dad. You guys, my dad's watching right now. And I just saw him because he's texting my uncle to like tune in too. So, hey guys.
My aunt's watching too.
Oh, hello, Gigi's aunt. John, you got any family watching? Guys, there's like a full crew. You guys are only seeing what's happening here on the front side, but on the back side, there's like a whole production here going on right now. But yeah, 50 millimeter, guys, f1.4, and that's pretty much how I'm shooting these receptions and ceremonies without light, because yeah, I mean, this just keeps the ambiance. Okay, final questions. We're coming to a close. So sad.
Do you use continuous lighting?
Continuous lighting. So someone's asking if I use continuous lighting. You know, I used to use continuous lighting a lot, but the only time I really use it now is more for like detail stuff, like the rings. That's pretty much it. I don't really use like continuous light that much anymore. I think it's more so because I like to, I'm sorry, let me take that back. I like using continuous light in the sense of like just turning on the light. It's on right now. I don't know if you guys can see, but it is nice to like leave the light on. So this way you can see where your light is falling on a subject. So that's where I would use continuous light, just to see where it's falling. But aside from that, overall, I'm not really big on continuous lighting. I have nothing against it. I don't know, I find myself not really using it that much anymore. I'm either shooting really natural, like no light, or I'm using my two light setup, okay? Okay, final questions.
What did you get most from switching from Nikon to Sony outside of low light?
Say that again?
What did you get most from switching from Nikon to Sony outside of low light?
What did I change?
What did you get most from switching from Nikon
Oh,
to
okay.
Sony?
So what did I get most from switching from Nikon to Sony when it came to low light? I would say focusing. Focusing was the main reason why I'm so glad that I switched. And truthfully, it really just comes down to like, since switching to Sony, I'm not even kidding. I used to shoot Nikon for 10 years. 10 years, okay? So I know what I'm talking about with Nikon, guys. I would say when I was going through my pictures on Lightroom, it was like for every 10, 15 photos, I would have like a loss of focus, or just like, you know, just like a little out of focus, like nothing sharp. But truthfully, since switching to Sony, I would say it's maybe out of, let's say like 1,000 photos or 1,500 photos I'll take at a wedding, I may have like 10 images out of focus. Maybe, if that. That's how amazing the Sony systems are. It's just the focusing, the low light, how great it looks even at, you know, at using the ISO. It's just, it really is amazing. So that's pretty much why I switched.
Someone says they have your system and it changes power on them sometimes. Has that ever happened to you?
They have the same system and it changes power?
On them? Yeah, has that happened to you?
That's never happened to me. What are you saying? That somebody asked that they have the same system and they're saying it's changing the power? You're talking about the light is changing the power, and are you talking about the Explore light, or are you talking about this one? Leave a comment. And I need water because I've been talking way too much. Any other questions?
What about lenses?
Guys, I'm getting a lot of lenses questions, so definitely look, when do we want to post the vote? We can post the vote after. Yeah, what we'll do is once we put the links up on the story, what we're going to do is we will post a vote, so this way you guys can vote what next week's live stream is going to be. I'm seeing that it's probably going to be about cameras or lenses, but who knows, maybe editing will win this time.
Do you have any recommendations for cheap beginner light for filming YouTube videos?
Okay, so cheap beginner light for filming YouTube videos.
All your little ones, right?
Yeah, actually, I do use these lights. This is a continuous light. So I know I was saying I don't really use them, but I do have these ones if I do. These are the calmer lights. I really like these ones. As far as filming YouTube videos, I'll put a link on my blog so you guys can see what light I would recommend. It's
ones, right?
it's called the newer. It's called the newer light. So I'll put you guys some links there as well. Any last questions? Man, there's a lot of questions here. Any other questions?
Editing. People want to know about editing.
I second editing. See, slave systems for flashes. Okay, so let's close out here. Let's talk about the lighting setup for the slaves. So pretty much here, you can see I'm just firing off the light right now. Give me 1 second. G, can you help me move this chair? Yeah. Hold on, guys. We're going to kind of reset up here for a second because I'm going to show you guys this little slave system. So hold on 1 second. I'm just going to move that. Perfect. Okay. So number 1, we got our... Something fell, but don't worry, it's fine. Okay, so we got our light set up right here. See, that's the only problem with live is sometimes things happen and you just got to keep rolling with it. So remember, I got my 2 lighting setups right here. To be honest, the slave system is like the easiest thing on this. So literally, you just turn the light on, okay? And then it's gonna pop up like a little S in the corner with this little, it looks like a little signal. So it has like a little dot and this little signal thing as well. And pretty much that's what controls, that's what means that you're slaving. Guys, I hate to say it, but it's time for the end of the live stream. I wish I had a sweeter ending than that, but I think we've pretty much covered everything today. Just as a side note, for anybody that missed anything, don't worry because John is literally standing right here and we're gonna take this video and upload it to YouTube. So in case you guys missed anything, then you'll be able to watch it there. Thanks guys for tuning in, really appreciate it. I'm glad you're enjoying the live streams. The live streams are here to stay. The goal is to do them every Thursday at 5 p.m. Of course, there may be a rare case that, we may have to change the time or the date if I end up having a shoot or something come up, or who knows, maybe we'll live stream from the shoot, just kind of depending on the week. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you again for following us. Thank you for, just liking our photos and saying that you love it and leaving comments and all that. We really appreciate it. And, shout out to my team. I couldn't be doing this live stream without Gigi here, shouting out all the questions to me, and John here. Hey, John, who's filming the video, so this way you guys can watch it again. Just keep in mind that if you guys want to, do kind of even what I'm doing, just know that it takes a village. You can't do it on your own, so definitely get out there, start building your team, meet other people, and you will be well on your way to doing the same thing. So on that note, bye, guys.
Tell them to watch the story for all the links.
Oh, and watch the story for all of the links. Okay, we're going to just upload a quick blog right now with all the links, and you guys will be able to swipe up so this way you can literally go directly to everything. And remember, we're going to put a vote as well on our Instagram story, so this way you guys can vote what's going to be happening next week. But honestly, I think everybody's deciding that it's pretty much going to be about cameras, lenses, or editing, so one of the 3. So we'll give you guys the options. You guys can decide, and then we'll pretty much take it from there. Okay?
I'm gonna tell them a secret about editing.
Oh, yes. Okay. Dang, you guys have to remind me, because if you don't remind me, then I'm going to forget. So on the blog, I'm going to be giving you guys an exclusive link to an editing company that I work with who helps me edit the majority of our photography, some of our edits. You can't do everything, so sometimes you might need some help getting some of your photos edited and done. So I'm definitely going to be sharing that link with you guys. So trust me, it's going to be a big help when it comes to some of the next upcoming live streams, okay? So stay tuned. And I will see you guys next week.
Woo!
All right, or I'll see you guys in the story. I'll see you guys on the feed. I'll see you guys everywhere. What's today, Thursday? Wow, I can't believe it's almost Friday. Okay, well, enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great weekend. Happy wedding shooting or shooting whatever you're doing. And I will see you guys soon.